Soon come home, man.
K Flock just caught a major break. He's been found not guilty in the case involving the passing of Huáscar Hernandez. But the story didn't end there. Right after the verdict, his lawyers came forward and revealed his release date. Even though Flock walked away from the most serious M charge, he still got hit with 5 other counts, including possession and RICO-related offenses. Things took a tough turn in December when the sentencing came down. News outlets confirmed that K Flock was sentenced to 25 years in prison. That hit his fans hard, but his legal team isn't giving up. They're already pushing for an appeal, arguing that the sentence was way too harsh for the actual role he played in the RICO case. They're fighting to get that time reduced and keep his name clear. Still, there's a small victory worth noting. Flock managed to beat the most serious charge connected to Huáscar Hernandez, which is huge. Later, a court report surfaced where prosecutors sent a letter suggesting the jury might have misunderstood something. It said they needed to decide if the defendant, with his own unique mindset, truly believed Huáscar was about to use physical force. By considering his personal perspective, the court's basically reviewing the case through K Flock's eyes, and that could change everything. The court's now weighing everything about K Flock's background, his life in the streets, surrounded by nonstop chaos and crime. That kind of environment shaped how he reacts, and that's exactly what his lawyers are arguing. They're saying Flock only acted fast that day with Huáscar because he thought he was about to get hit. He saw him reaching and instantly moved to protect himself. But proving that to the judge for the other charges? That's gonna be tough. Still, things took an interesting turn when an update dropped straight from K Flock himself during a jail phone call. He spoke up about his situation and kept his energy strong behind bars.
Talk to them, Flock. Talk to them, my dog. Soon come home, man. You got these little boys walking around with no jewels, Flock. They need you. They need you, Flock.
I'm coming, man.
Not long after, Lil Tjay publicly backed him up, saying, "Free K Flock," and that it's unfair he's still locked up. And here's the twist. Bobby Shmurda jumped in too, giving his own thoughts on the case, surprising a lot of fans with what he had to say.
What's it like for you watching the K Flock thing happen? That's crazy. Next big artist coming out of New York.
I love Flock, so I like that. That's my guy.
Okay.
But you know, I'm wishing him the best right now, you know what I'm saying? And you know, for the alleged charges they pushing on him, you know what I'm saying? I'm wishing his family the best. I'm wishing the whole team the best and everything, you know what I'm saying? And I hope he beat them alleged charges, you know what I'm saying? Because he got a lot of future brightness. He got, and I hope, you know what I'm saying?
That would be a sad story if that's the end of the
we ain't gonna think like that, you know what I'm saying?
You gotta stay positive.
The wildest twist in K Flock's entire case is that he was originally locked up just for the charge tied to Huáscar Hernandez, but things spiraled fast once he was inside. While Flock sat in jail waiting on that case, the feds came in swinging, hitting him with a whole new wave of charges that took everyone by surprise. And get this, the extra charges only came up because someone from his own circle decided to talk. Reports say Flock got accused of using a firearm back in 2020 after someone pulled one on his friend, and now that same friend ended up testifying against him. The person behind the snitching is named Brockington, better known in the streets as Dougie. Now, don't mix him up with K Flock's right-hand man Dougie B, because this isn't him. This Dougie got caught up selling and took a plea deal, and part of that deal meant throwing Flock under the bus. During his testimony, Dougie said he was attacked by one guy and that Flock stepped in, defending him and clapping back with the other man's own firearm. It's a wild twist. Flock stood up for Dougie when things got real, and now, years later, that same person flipped on him in court. To really figure out when K Flock might walk free, you gotta look deep into his court case with Dougie, because that's where all the key details are hiding. In court, the prosecutors pressed Dougie hard, asking, "After you got hit, who called you in the hospital?" Dougie didn't hesitate. He said K Flock called him up and told him, "You know we got you, bro." The prosecutors double-checked, asking if KK meant K Flock, and Dougie confirmed it. Yes, it did. Then came the big moment. Prosecutors pushed further, saying, "So Flock retaliated for you, right?" Dougie admitted that was true, even saying someone got grazed during the chaos. He went on describing how Flock was armed and on the phone with rival members who were spinning around their block, setting off a dangerous back and forth that could have exploded at any second. That's the kind of tension K Flock lived with every day on the streets of New York, never knowing when something could go down And even one of his closest friends, B. Lovey, couldn't stay silent about the pressure Flock was under. He had something real to say about it.
Okay, but so I saw some fans who were off at both me and academics after K-Flock got locked up because, well, just because I guess, like, you know, in our tone when we talked about it, you know, it might have seemed like we were being a little too presumptuous. But is that weird for you? Because I'm sure you see people all the way from rappers to whoever acting like, you know, your boy is just done and he's cooked in this situation.
I ain't gonna lie, people, especially people that don't even be knowing, like, y'all don't even know what's going on, bro.
The reason the Huáscar Hernandez case still plays such a huge role today is because many believe the judge hit K-Flock with a long sentence, partly due to that same charge, even though it was dropped. It's like the weight of that case still followed him into court. Some say if Flock hadn't been connected to the whole Huáscar situation at all, his time behind bars could have been way shorter. Even with the M charge cleared, its shadow still hangs over his name. Everything goes back to that day, December 23rd, 2021, when the tragic story first began. Surveillance footage showed K-Flock walking down a Bronx sidewalk with another individual, dressed in a blue coat, a shiesty mask, and designer jeans. That moment would end up changing everything for him, setting off a chain of events that still keeps his name in headlines today. Just before everything went down that day, K-Flock was on Instagram Live, letting his ops know exactly how he felt. He wasn't holding back at all. Moments later, he was spotted walking through the city streets, but things took a turn fast when he passed by a barbershop. Inside was Huáscar Hernandez, who immediately recognized him. Huáscar rushed out of the shop, heated, yelling at Flock, "What are you looking at?" He clearly didn't want Flock anywhere near his block. K-Flock fired back with his own words, and the two started shouting back and forth right there on the sidewalk. But even as Flock tried to keep walking, Huáscar wouldn't let it go. He kept following, getting louder instead of backing off and returning inside. Then came the moment that changed everything. Security footage showed Huáscar reaching inside his jacket, and that move made Flock believe he was about to pull a weapon. Feeling cornered, Flock acted first and pulled out his firearm, firing at Huáscar in self-defense before taking off from the scene. Huáscar tried to make it back to the barbershop, but collapsed just outside the door. Witnesses immediately called 911 as cops and paramedics rushed in to help, but it was too late. Despite their efforts, Huáscar Hernandez didn't make it, marking a tragic end to a heated street encounter that spiraled out of control. When the scene finally cleared, only two things were left behind: Huáscar's slides and a few shell casings from K-Flock's firearm. That's when the feds jumped in, kicking off a full investigation. At first, they had no clue who the masked suspect was, so they went public, posting the surveillance footage online and asking for help. It didn't take long before the internet lit up with theories. Fans of K-Flock were the first to piece things together. They noticed the blue jacket the mystery man wore in the video looked exactly like the one Flock had on during a previous Instagram Live. That was enough for the feds to zero in on him. Soon after, an official warrant for K-Flock's arrest was issued, but Flock didn't try to run. He immediately got himself one of the top lawyers in the country and made a move fast. Within just 24 hours of the incident, once his lawyer got word there was a warrant out, they both went straight to the NYPD's 30th precinct so Flock could turn himself in. Alongside that, surrender came a strong statement from his lawyer. I accompanied Kevin as he self-surrendered to detectives in the 30th precinct. Arrangements were immediately made with the NYPD once I learned he was wanted. As for the charges, we've already begun our investigation into these allegations. We'll address bail once we've had the chance to review the case and the DA's disclosures.
When the guy hits the ground and is found, he's got a loaded that was in his pocket that his hand was on at the time. You know, we consider that to be self-defense.
So he did heat him in self-defense.
That's what the allegation is. You know, I don't want to talk too much about the details of the case, but the government claims that he pulled the... But at the same time, the person that was on the ground had his hand on a illegal loaded.
Soon after reviewing the evidence, Flock's attorney made it clear. He believed K-Flock acted purely in self-defense.
Okay. So without saying too much, you're arguing obviously self-defense.
That could be one of the arguments, self-defense. And I would say to the public, you know, somebody's walking up to you with a loaded, it's pretty clear is going to use it, with a criminal record a mile long. Do you want to get, or do you not want to?
Oh, absolutely. I wouldn't hesitate to pull it.
That statement sent shockwaves through fans and the media, setting the tone for one of the Bronx's most talked about legal battles. When the feds dropped their official statement, they claimed the whole situation sparked from ongoing beef between street teams. Investigators tied K-Flock to a long-running connection with the Third Side crew, saying that link played a huge role in what happened. At the same time, Flock was blowing up fast. His name carried serious weight in both the rap scene and the streets, but that kind of fame came with danger. Being on top made him a major target anytime his rivals wanted to make a move. Even though Flock beat the Huáscar Hernandez case, his legal troubles didn't stop there. Not long after, he got slammed with RICO charges and more federal accusations. While he was sitting behind bars, a federal grand jury indicted him again, this time on multiple racketeering conspiracy counts. The hip-hop world went crazy when that news hit. Creators and fans were instantly reacting, saying it might be over for Flock. Even DJ academics jumped in on the story, posting, "Feds just unsealed an indictment on K-Flock for a RICO charge." The internet exploded with speculation because the mandatory minimum for RICO, if you don't beat it or snitch, is life in prison. And on top of that, he's still facing state-level charges that are keeping him locked up. Not long after, K-Flock's legal team responded with a firm statement defending him. "We're not surprised by the federal charges, as we've been fighting Kevin's state case for over a year now. The incident was a clear act of self-defense. It's not a strong charge, but the fact that it's being used as a base for something bigger is extraordinary." The video clearly shows Kevin was about to be attacked while trying to walk away. Only then did he use an item to defend himself and his sister from an armed individual who was about to pull a weapon. The message was clear. Flock's team wasn't backing down, and they were ready to prove his side of the story no matter how deep the feds tried to dig. It's almost like the feds couldn't let go. Even though K-Flock already beat the Huáscar Hernandez case, they still found a way to use that same situation to stack up even more charges against him. It really shows how hard it is to shake off the system once they've got you in their sights. They'll do whatever it takes to keep you behind bars, but not everything has been going bad for Flock lately. According to court reporters, his trial started off surprisingly strong. On day one, people in the courtroom said things looked shaky for the prosecutors. They were stumbling over their words, struggling to answer the judge's questions, and barely presenting any solid evidence to go against Flock's defense. It was clear his lawyers came prepared while the prosecution seemed all over the place. Witnesses even mentioned that K-Flock got emotional toward the end of that first day. It's his first real trial, so the pressure was heavy. But before leaving the courtroom, his legal team leaned over and whispered something that lit a spark in him. They told him, "You're going to win this." They believed it so strongly that Flock himself later sent out a personal message from jail, letting everyone know his confidence hasn't faded one bit.
Flock here, been a lot of talk about the trial. I just want to set the record straight though, make my first official statement about it. I want to give thanks to everybody who supported me and kept me in their prayers. I want to thank everyone who was involved in my trial, especially the judge who made sure I was treated with respect throughout the process. I have to thank my lawyer, Michael Ashley, no cap, for not giving up on me and putting up a fight, even though we still fighting because it ain't over till Allah says it's over. I want to thank every one of my fans and supporters. I love y'all, everything to the chin, nothing to the heart. And my spirits and faith is high as they ever been, and I pray everyone out there is at peace and feel positive too.
Ever since K-Flock became a clear target for the feds, it's like they've started zeroing in on every rapper they can link to the streets. The pressure didn't stop with him, it's spreading. Even Lil Baby got dragged into drama over a crime he had absolutely nothing to do with. Authorities claimed that just because he was filming a music video on a certain block, it somehow sparked chaos that led to a few tragic losses. That connection didn't make sense to fans at all, but the feds still tried to paint him into the picture. And it doesn't end there. Youngin Ace also found himself in their sights. Reports say he got called out by the feds for allegedly being tied to a few crimes they're still investigating.
So Youngin Ace has long been known in Jacksonville. We are consistently monitoring those groups. We have people that are always watching them. I won't speak to the chief's investigation. That's up to TPD. We don't have an investigation on him right now, but he can't move around in Jacksonville without us knowing about it. And that's for the betterment of our community.
It's wild how fast these artists can go from making hits to fighting legal battles, all because of where they came from or who they know. Even Boozy spoke up about how the feds move when they've already decided they want to keep someone locked down. While talking about YNW Melly's situation, he said something that stuck with everyone. The feds will do anything they can to keep you if they want you. That line hit hard, especially with everything going on in K-Flock's case. It's like once they've got you in their sights, they'll bend every rule to make sure you don't walk free. Right now, all eyes are on K-Flock's appeal, because if it doesn't go in his favor, it could be another 25 long years before we see him back home again. His team is still fighting to bring him justice, but the clock is ticking. If you've been following this story, make sure to like, subscribe, share, and drop a comment below. Let us know what you think about how the system's treating K-Flock.